What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. I'm here with Bex, the host of Up Next with Bex, and we're gonna talk about all types of stuff, like all the cool stuff that he's got to do recently. But before we jump into this thing, let's give a shout to Quick Trip, a great sponsor. If you haven't tried the hotspot, definitely do that. And I think Nicolay Law and Quick Trip, who are great sponsors of mine, actually work together. And Nicolay Law gives away money, I believe, every week. So if you haven't, be sure to check the Quick Rewards app. You can find out how you can win some money from Nicolay Law and all types of cool sweepstakes that they got going on this summer. They're going to have a lot more cool stuff. So be sure to check it out. And of course, if you get hurt in an accident, hit up nicklaylaw.com. They're going to help take care of it and help you deal with the insurance companies and whatnot. So big shout out to Nicolay Law and Quick Trip being great sponsors. Now let's get into this. This is an exciting interview that I wanted to have, and we actually did it before, but I lost power, and then I kind of lost it. Yeah, it was like a weird night. That night was, but the interesting thing, which is funny, you might find it funny too, Bex, is that I have a generator that will light up your house and let you plug in your refrigerator and all that stuff, and I couldn't get it to work, but it was just out of gas. That's why it wouldn't start. I noticed it like the next day when we were trying to work on it after we got the power back, and I felt so silly because I was like, I looked inside, it looked like it had a little bit of gas in there, so I think that was it because it's brand new. But anyway, so I'm not that clever, you know what I mean?
I mean, you're still pretty clever, but first I just want to say thank you for having me on, and yeah, just start out when you want to start.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we are going and all right, so you got to do a lot of cool stuff lately. You're interviewing. You got Mark Tosher. You had AJ Dillon, Mark Murphy. A lot of cool people that I would like to talk to. How did this whole journey start? Where you started to get to talk to all these cool people?
All right, so it started where I had a school project in January of last year, in 2024, and you had to pick a learner and a leader to interview. So I was like, all right, I'm pretty good at communicating with people. So I was like, but now I have to pick a learner and a leader. But a couple of months back at the Boys and Girls Club, former Packers safety Jonathan Owens, who's rocking out for the Bears, I was like, all right, maybe I can interview him. So we talked to his agent, and it was through the club. Thanks to them. I couldn't have done this without them. And so we talked to him, and I got to interview him, and I was like, okay, I did pretty good. Why not I make this like a whole like podcasting thing? And then I did that, and then I started interviewing like I think 7 people now. Yeah, 7.
That's awesome. So with all the interviews that you've done, what advice would you give someone who wants to interview someone? What's some good advice, some stuff that you learned?
Well, there's 2 things. First, don't be nervous. Just act like you're having just another random conversation with somebody. Don't think of it, oh my gosh, like I'm talking like some famous person or like a multi-million dollar person. Don't think of that. Think of I'm just having a conversation with somebody. And also, I would suggest not using scripts. If you just go by your own brain and mind, it goes a long way and it's way easier because you don't have to remember stuff and have to look at a script or anything. You just get to go right off your head at the moment.
Yeah, I actually think that's really good advice. I used to have like so many notes, like when I interview people, and I think it's better to just have conversation. Sometimes you'll forget something that maybe like a really good question that you wanted to ask, but you can write a few notes down. Sometimes I do, but I feel like just having a real conversation, you get a lot more out of it than if you were just going through and just asking a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
So that's good. So Jonathan Owens, what was your first interview? So like, how did you prepare for that? Like, how did that go?
It went pretty good, but I had to prepare a lot because again, it was for my school project. So I kind of had to like I couldn't like have like just do like a fun podcast. Well, it was still fun, but like I couldn't like just like all like not mess around, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I had
I
to
know what you
stick
mean.
to like selective questions, so I couldn't like just ask random things. I would have to ask like about the topic that we had to interview the person about. So I mean, it was super fun. It was a fun experience to having a podcast with the professional football player. But yeah, I mean, I kind of had to stick to a quote unquote script, even though I did not have one in front of me.
Yeah, and I mean, I've done that with like I've had like Preston Smith and different players on who there's certain things like I want to make sure I don't forget. So like I would have notes. I just want to have a I don't have a script usually. But if it's like an episode like there's certain things I want to make sure I don't forget. Like I got sticky notes. That's one thing I do. I don't think I have them right here. I have these like little sticky notes, and sometimes even like as I'm recording, I have a marker. I'll just write something down, and like if it pops in my head, like I'll try to jot like a note so that um I don't forget. Like because sometimes like those good questions come in your head, and then the person's talking, so then you're listening to them, so it kind of goes away. Maybe because I'm old. I don't
I
know.
know. No, no, that no, you're 100% right. You are not old. I mean, you look pretty young, not gonna lie.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
but I mean, yeah, I always do that too. And I'm like, oh, what question was it? So then I like have to go out of order and save it for the end when I'm like, oh no. So like it ends out of order, but I feel you. It's not because you're old. Trust me.
Yeah, I think it's all right to bounce around because I do that a lot. Like I'll be talking with someone about something, and then like the same thing, I'll have a thought, but there's just no room to like really ask it. So I'll pop back later on. Like it's all over the place. People who listen to me, they I think they probably used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But let's talk about Mark Murphy. You got to interview Mark Murphy. How did that happen? Because he's one of the people that I'm like really interested in. Like I've been in the same room with him a few times, but never really talked to him. Never, definitely not in a podcast. So how did that happen, and how did that go for you?
So all of my other podcasts, I asked the person that I wanted to interview. That one time, he and his friends asked me. So I really like didn't get to like ask him. They did. So yeah, I mean like it was so like I wish I could tell you on how, but that was like the one that everybody asked me about, and I can't tell them how I did it. Besides this, they found me. But I mean that almost made it feel like almost better because it was like somebody recognized me, and like we're like, oh my gosh, this kid's a talented interviewer. We should have him interview Mark Murphy. So I mean, I couldn't really give you that much advice about it, except for if you're in rooms with him, um so just make sure to reach out to him. But also, along with that, I got to go to the New North Summit, which had like 400 people in Lambeau Field, where they played my interview with him, so it got shown to like over 400 people. So also thanks to Barb Lemieux, who reached out to me to interview Mark Murphy and allow me to go to the New North event.
That's awesome that that many people like saw. Like, how does that make you feel? Like when even like with your videos, but like especially that like 400 people watching you interview.
I mean, I think it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. It just made me feel good inside. I really felt good about it.
Yeah, especially like with like you say, like they kind of reached out to you, so like they wanted to talk to you. I think that that's cool too. That they're like, we need to talk to this kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's weird because like even like at work, like people I know in real life, when I find out that they listen to my podcast or they see my content, sometimes I kind of feel weird about it because you know like I've known a lot of people for so long. So like to me, it would be kind of weird, like 400 people watching all at once, like and you're there. So it's yeah, I think that'd be interesting. But yeah, it definitely would make you feel good, especially with them like reaching out to you. I have to reach out to everyone. Who was someone else that you got to interview that was really awesome?
Ooh, that was really awesome. I mean, all of them, but my next favorite, uh, mm, it's a bit of a tie. Cause like kind of AJ Dillon, but also at the same time was really fun to interview Bill Jard. So both of those were also super good. AJ Dillon just very just like bright. He was very calm as well. Bill Jart's very bright, very funny, but he was not really calm. He would, but like in a good way. He was like super just energetic and like no, when most people interview me, they're just like, but like when Bill Jarts was, he was going like it was so cool. Like it made me laugh like 50 times. It was a good. Those two were super good.
Yeah, and, AJ Dillon is awesome. He's a very nice dude. I've never uh, talked to him like that, Bill Jarch is someone who like I've watched on TV in some way for like my whole life. He seems like such a nice guy, and he does seem like he has that energy. He does the Packers. First down. I remember like being at Lambeau Field one time, and I just happened to be standing right where he like does all that stuff, and I looked over to my left, and he was just in the window. And like throughout most of the game, I was just staring at him. Like during the game, I was like, "Oh, that's Bill Jarge. That's where it happens."
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of a little off track. Give me your best, and that's another Packer first down.
yep. And that's another Packers first down.
I like the accent. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
try it. And that's another Packers first down. Yours was way
killing
better.
it.
Speaking of Bill Jarts, I hosted a wine and cheese event with him February 6th, and I raised nearly $500,000 for the Boys and Girls Club for the Basin Lakes region. Um, so that was very fun. We were doing like auctions. He was handing out his baseball cards and pens with like Bill Jarts pens for like $10,000 for the auction. It was crazy. He's a very nice guy, and it was fun to host the event with him.
Did you guys raised $500,000?
Well, a little on it. I think it was like, I'm taking an estimate, $456,379.
That's awesome. That's an amazing number. How does that feel to be a part of something like that does such like good for so many people?
It makes me feel super good because I can help other people out in the community, but also just help myself because it makes me feel better inside when I help other people. So it made me feel super good, and I feel like the club really appreciates it, and I hope I get to do it next year.
Yeah, I remember. I used to go to Boys and Girls Club when I was a kid.
You did?
Yeah, I think everyone did. I think it's the rules. Yeah.
You have to go to the Boys and Girls Club.
At some point, I didn't spend a crazy ton of time there, but I remember going there playing basketball, hanging out with my friends. They had like a teen night thing even then later on.
Oh, teen
But
nights. Yes,
yeah,
now they have like VR ones, cooking, sports, movie nights. It is video games. It is so fun.
yeah, Boys and Girls Club is a good place, especially like for a lot of kids who maybe don't have a bunch of friends like in their area, so they can go there and like meet up with people and like meet new people. Yeah, but Boys and Girls Club is needed for sure.
Yeah, you need it because that helps so many kids to just have fun and experience other stuff, but also their parents who need to drop them off there for work. Because like if you work like three jobs, because I know at one time my mom was, and she sent me to a club. They fed me, like they took care of me, and most of all, they let me have fun. You got
Yeah, that's a perfect thing. Fun, safe, and yeah, and I think it's a great place for kids, like, especially like yeah, parents are working or some kids who have different childhood home life that they really need that. But so speaking of AJ Dillon, he just he signed with the Eagles. Did you see this?
Yes, to be honest, I think that's going to be one of the most deadly backfields in the NFL. Because like you got Saquon Barkley who can just run it up to the one, then you have AJ Dillon that can just pound it in there. And like every single time I get a jersey, like a couple months after, they get like traded or released or signed. Like I just got an AJ Dillon jersey for Christmas, and then he was gone. So I know it's crazy. But another guy that is going viral around the league for maybe being traded. This guy, you can't really see it. Jair Alexander.
Yeah,
What do you think on him?
I think it's a weird situation because I feel like a lot of people are talking about like what could be going on in the locker room if they're not all getting along. But I don't think we don't really know. Some guys in the media probably are closer to the locker room that they might know. But I did see Rob Domofsky said it kind of seems like he thought both sides kind of wanted a new start. Like maybe Jair wants to move on to Packers because with his contract and with his injury history, I think that they might just want to be like, we don't want to take any chances. It's a big contract. I'm not sure if there's any hurt feelings like in the locker room, like between them, because I don't like to like listen to every rumor I hear, unless it's like a player talking about it. But it does seem like maybe it's not as happy as it once was for him
Yeah.
and the Packers. I do think that I don't think he's going to be a Packer next year. What do you think?
I don't think he is either. But I mean, like his cap it the cap hit for him it's so much that like if you're the Packers, it's almost like you almost gotta move on. I mean, like he's still kind of young, but he's been dealing with injuries for
Yeah,
the past like 2-3 years, and getting injured a lot is not what you want. But I feel like if they get rid of him. They get more cap space, and then they have to get a wide receiver. Speaking of, because Christian Watson is out for the first 3 months of the season, so 12 weeks of the NFL season. So that's over half of the season. And then you get Nate Hobbs, a great cornerback from the Raiders, and Aaron Banks, who I've not heard of, but I bet he's a great player. Um, then like you still have more cap. You didn't fix the problem. You didn't get a wide receiver. Yeah, you could have used a cornerback and whatever position Aaron Banks plays. You can use that, but you need a wide receiver more. So I if they don't get one in free agency, which you have Cooper Cup, who recently got released from the Rams today, and Amari Cooper, who's still a solid player, even though he's getting up there in age. So if they don't get anybody in free agency, it's basically draft or you don't get a wide receiver and you risk that and hope that Christian Watson comes out playing super good after week 12. All right, I've talked a lot. It's your turn.
no, I love that. Yeah, I saw that MVS was a guy a lot of people were talking about could come to the Packers. He just signed with someone. I think the Seahawks. Maybe I forget. A lot of people moving around, but yeah, and he was. Devontae Adams is gone. Like all the
The
guys that
Rams.
yeah, I've heard people say that I'm not a big I don't college guy where I don't know a lot about every college player, but a lot of people said that there's some wide receivers in this draft that could help out day one. And I don't know if they're banking on that, but I agree with you 100%. They need some help. That passing game last year wasn't that good. They had a lot of drops, and I think that those guys are going to fix some of that, like Wicks and Reed. I think they'll fix that. Jordan Love was hurt. So I think they'll get better, especially with every year. I feel like players get better and better and better. They should, hopefully. And but they definitely need help. Plus, hopefully Musgrave is healthy, stays healthy, and Tucker Kraft. I feel like the tight end position is going to be awesome. So what do you think, like as a whole, that the Packers offense will be this coming up season? Obviously, that there's a lot of moves that could happen till then, but what's your projection?
I need a second to think. Because, you know what? To be honest, couldn't tell you. The Packers are so, like, unpredictable. Like, you can't, like, say, like, oh, the Packers, they're going to go 17-0 easily. But like the Packers, like if they have a super good team and like everybody says they're going like 17-0 or like one seed in the playoffs, they're most likely not going to do that. Not saying that they're like underperforming, but the Packers are just unpredictable. You can never say that you know what the Packers are going to do unless you are making the decision. They're just so unpredictable. And that's what's the cool thing about the Packers. You can like at any moment you can just be in shock. But I mean, yeah, I don't. To be honest, if you want me to give an actual answer, they're gonna do okay, okay. Because I mean, I don't want to say they're gonna do super good or super bad,
Yeah.
because that's a lie that they're gonna be super bad. Super good, maybe, possibly. I feel like they're gonna be a nice 10-7 or 9-8 team again this year. They're just not at that point. They're not at like Eagles level yet, but they're not like down here at like at the Saints level, just missing the playoffs. They're right there in like that little level with like now who like the Buccaneers. So I think Packers Buccaneers would be a great game if they play
Yeah, and
playoffs.
yeah, I think the Pack. Like I'm very biased. I'm a very very biased Packer fan. Like I'm a homer, as I'm called a lot. But yeah, they definitely have to progress. From last year from on the passing game. I think the running game is going to be fine, but the passing game, I feel like if they can fix that and like limit those drops and get some good production. Cause I think Jordan Love is going to be great, but with that injury, I think this is the big year for them all to prove to everyone what they
Like
are.
like what I said last time. Um, it's like this year 3 of like that whole squad being together since Aaron Rodgers left. It's like the game 5 in NBA of an NBA final series. If like they're tied 2-2, one year they did pretty good, and then the other year they were a little bit worse. Like game 5 of an NBA finals where you're tied 2-2, that's like almost like the deciding game because like over 50% of finals, if a team wins game 5 when they're tied 2-2, they go on to win the finals, no matter if it's in 7 or 6. So I feel like this year is like a very important year for the Packers. It's just going to be up to them at this point. I feel like they have the Packers. Here's the thing: the Packers have the potential to be a 1 or 2 seed in the NFC, but they almost choose not to. Not choose not to, but like they have potential. It's like the potential can go past the sky, even though there's nothing past the sky,
Yeah,
top of the sky. So, but like they have that potential, but they just can never find to do that in the start of the season because they always have to. Half of it's because they have to deal with injuries, and the other half is just because they're in a pretty. Like 25% is because they play in a hard division, and then that another 25% is the drop passes and the defense when they can't hold their opponents on third downs. So basically what I'm saying is 25% of their season is based off of if they can hold up with themselves. So I don't know.
yeah. I think like they're not consistent enough. I think that's kind of like what you were saying too. Is like they have really good games, but like they're playing catch up too much times because like they lose games that they shouldn't lose, or they start off slow in a game and then the second half they're trying to come back. Sometimes they
They just
do,
don't.
but yeah, you don't want to start a season like that. You don't want to start a game like that. It's not good. But I want to ask you about you just did something with Mark Tosher. You interviewed him?
Yep, my 7th interview, lucky number 7. Um, yeah, that was pretty fun. It was an interesting one. He had a cooking show going on that day, and some cooking classes and all that. So, yeah, that one was pretty fun. We got to talk a little bit about pickleball, which I love my pickleball. Yeah. So, and then also, I have not said this yet. If you want to watch my videos, make sure to search up Shorts on Sports on YouTube, and it should come up. All you have to see is this kid, red hair. It's pretty easy to spot me with my red hair. Um, Also, you can see some of my videos on my website, upnextwithbex.com. I saw that you had it in the starting little video thingy with the music. And then also, if you want to follow me, please do Facebook on there. We nearly have 2,000 followers, and I'm trying to get 5,000 by the end of the year. We've been getting some good progress with that. We're doing pretty good on that. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. I don't have as much followers on that one, but still some. So if you want to follow me on that too, we're trying to build my Instagram followers up too. So yeah, that's how you can follow me or watch my videos. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was actually just thinking that bring it up because I'd like to bring that up earlier rather than later to make sure everyone gets a chance to see that. So, what's that website one more time?
Up next with Bex.com. You can see some of my videos. I think you can comment on it, I believe. Yeah.
I'll have to
Um
check that out.
you used to be able to. I don't know about now. Yeah, there's also it says little kid big voice, which I think is cool. And then you can see some of my videos sometimes when I was on the news, Spectrum News. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned like being on the news. Like, what's that like? Like being like and like with all the cameras and like you've done radio, you've done WXX. What's all that like?
It's very well. It depends. We'll start out with the news. The time that I was on the news specifically, for when we got Ravens to ride our bikes because the Packers thing was filled and it was, I think, private. When they came, they heard my story and like they were like their camera crew was like running across when I was running with the bike and the player. Like they were trying to chase me and like I was tired, I was sweating. It was almost just like it was so fun because like it just like I just felt so like happy and I just everybody like the cameras were on me and like it just felt good. But then when I'm on the radio, it just feels like I said, just a conversation with two funny people, Jim Schmidt. My bad, I said Jim S word.
I won't tell nobody.
Okay. Hmm.
Accidents happen, but I don't know. Maybe your mom. Hopefully, she has the same opinion.
um. Okay. So I'll go back to the Mino in the Mirror thing with Jim Schmidt. um. So. All right. So on Spectrum News, the president of the Ravens, Sashi Brown, I think that's how you pronounce it, with president of the Packers, um, president of the Ravens with the president of the Packers, Mark Murphy, who I interviewed at before that. So I kind of knew him already. They were talking and he was like, what do you think about the Ravens or something like that? And I was like, they got screwed over in the AFC Championship by the Chiefs. So he laughed a lot and he was like, I like this kid. But yeah. Now back to Mino and the Mayor. Two guys to have a fun conversation with. John Mino and Jim Schmidt. Not Jim, you know what. So sometimes they get into disagreements, sometimes we all do, but that's fun because we get to collaborate and just share our opinions. It's just like a debate. It's almost like debate class. And most people say debate class is boring. I think it's the funnest thing ever. So not the funnest thing ever, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that's super fun. It I don't really get nervous for them, except when I'm like put on the spot when something I don't know, but that hardly slim to none ever happens. So but yeah, it's I don't really get too nervous about it. It's super fun, enjoying. I like collaborating with other people, and I just love it.
So, how many times were you on the radio? You were on a bunch, weren't you?
Wait, so just Mida with the bear?
Yeah. How many
Okay.
times for them?
All right. Ooh. My parents are saying five, but 4 or 5 for sure. Four
Yeah.
or five, something like
That's awesome. Yeah, mine was someone who I always thought was hilarious. He's been on the radio I think forever and a day. Not to say he's old, but he's been on the radio for.
I mean, it's not lying, so I mean, you're good. I mean, it's not like you're saying like a 39-year-old is old, unless you're talking football. Then
Yeah.
yes, but I mean, yeah, the when you're young in real time, you're old in the NFL if you're like 39.
Yeah,
It's
I remember when I started getting old enough where I was like, I'm older than every player in the NFL. That's when you start realizing that
you
you're kind of
are
old. I'm 45.
40, you look like 36.
Hey, see, that's why everyone likes you. That is why
Just
everyone
because I
likes
give
you.
compliments about how young they look.
Yeah, yeah. People like to be told they're young, except for when they're young. Then they want to be a little bit older.
Yeah,
That's kind of
most
how.
people say that I look like 6 or 5, but I mean, I don't blame them because they're speaking facts. So, yeah. But speaking of Mino and the Mayor, I was on there on Monday talking about Pi Day, which is coming up on Saturday. If you want to get exercise or have fun, running a walk around Green Bay, not around, but around Leonardo da Vinci School, which is where I go. Make sure to check it out. You can use my code capital B, capital E, capital X, Bex, capital P, capital I, 3. So kind of Bex Pie, but the E is a 3. You can get some money off of that. And yeah, it's super fun. It goes from Friday and Saturday, but the race is Saturday. I think it starts at about 8 a.m. I think, yep. I'm getting the okay. And Friday, it's for Old Glory Honor Flight, to raise money for the veterans that want to go back home on a flight to see their family. Um, it's a super cool thing. Yeah. So there's also raffles there. So if you want to do it, are you signed up?
I'm not. I work this weekend.
Oh, from what times
I work till noon.
on
Work
Saturday?
4 to noon.
Oh, dang, that's early.
Yeah, it's way too early.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean,
Yeah, everyone should definitely do that though. That sounds like a blast.
yeah. We have Katie, I think, from WIXS X coming in. 95.9, oh my gosh, 95.9 Kiss FM coming in to do the race. It's super fun. It's supposed to rain, but I mean, some people like the rain, but you get to go on they had to change the route last year for construction, but last year for the first time you got to walk around like on the Fox like boardwalk or something. I think that's what it's called. So, but they're keeping it the same this year. So I think it's pretty cool. If you want to go for a nice walk on the Fox River, that's a great place to do it for Pi Day, and you can support veterans.
Yeah, that is a cool spot over there. I think that's a good spot to do it. To everyone walking around, there's some good views over there, and like you say, it's for a great cause. So let me ask you some NFL stuff. Who's
Yes.
your favorite team? Like, you got
Ti-
one? Because I know that you talk about a lot of different teams and like you have a lot of knowledge.
Titans.
Oh, the
Easily.
Titans.
I love the Titans. I just wanted to cheer for an underdog. I feel like because I used to like the Patriots a lot a couple of years ago, and they're looking pretty good. They signed Carlton Davis III from the Lions. So their defense is looking pretty good. He's going to team up with Christian Gonzalez. So they're doing pretty good. Speaking of underdog teams, so hopefully the Titans can do the same. They just need to pick Cam Ward in the draft. Not no Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter. I feel like Cam Ward's a better fit for them, and I feel like no, not trying to be mean, but Shador Sanders normally only throws to Travis Hunter. So I mean, if you don't have Travis Hunter on the Titans with Shador Sanders, he's not used to throwing to anybody else and their play style. So that's gonna take a while to work into. But Cam Ward, he throws to like everybody. He's from Miami. Not many people talk about him, which is surprising because he's a super good player out of Miami. If they get him, 7 wins. 7 wins.
So
Maybe more.
you
Maybe
think
a ton
Titans
of
are
wins.
you think the Titans are like on the come up? You think in the next few years that you think that they're
Yeah.
gonna
If
start making
if
some.
they if they play their cards right, that is. Because if they pick Shador Sanders, no. Just no. It's going to
Yeah,
take them like 10, 15 years to
that's
rebuild.
the
I think
thing.
Shador
Yeah.
Sanders is a great player, but you're going to have to link him up with Travis Hunter if you want his full potential out of him. So, yeah, I feel like Cam Ward's just the better pick for them, but they have to play their cards right. I mean, I've really been thinking about how they can get to the Super Bowl in the next 10 years. It's very hard, but if I see there's some potential. Very little, but I'm gonna keep cheering for the Titans until they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you just gotta have hope. You know what I mean? That's what being a fan is just having hope. So who do you think is the number one pick in the draft? Do you think about this?
Yes. Okay. Who I think should be the number one pick is for the Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward. Who they're gonna pick, I know the Titans. They don't make the best of decisions in the draft. They're going to pick Travis Hunter or Shador Sanders. Not the best pick. But speaking of a former Titan, DeAndre Hopkins recently signed a 1 year, $6 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens not too long ago, about a day or two ago. What do you think of that?
I was just thinking that. Do the Titans have the number one pick?
And they did at the end of the year. They made the final thing.
I
I'm
was
like,
just thinking that because I was like, that was a silly
let's
question to ask
see.
because I forget who had it.
Yeah, who has the number one pick, Jeff? Titans, Browns, Giants. I mean, Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, Saints, Bears. That's the top
All
10.
right.
And then
Yeah.
49ers is 11. So they have the number one pick.
Yeah. So
You have,
this is their time to like make the right decision because
yeah,
if they don't,
so, okay, Titans, if you're hearing this right now, you want to draft Cam Ward. And if you can, you're definitely going to want to get a wide receiver in free agency. Also, maybe an O lineman. Tony Pollard, great running back, and then maybe just touch up a little bit on the defense, just in little areas. Get some depth on the team. There's no depth on the Titans. They need depth. Depth. Depth.
I know what you mean.
Depth. Yeah. All right. So yeah, they do need that because like they have some star players, but if they get injured, you have like nobody. You have
Yeah.
somebody, but you have somebody that nobody knows, have not got any playing time, so they've not really experienced the NFL. So they do need some depths. Depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Who is
Um,
who is your favorite player?
last time it was Justin Jefferson, but I don't know. I'm feeling some changes,
Yeah.
but for some odd reason. Like I don't know why, just out of my head, for some reason, my new favorite player. I don't know why. I just feel it is Saquon Barkley. I don't know why. I'm gonna be
I,
genuinely honest.
I can see that. I think Saquon Barkley, like since the Super Bowl, I've seen him talk more, like interviews and whatnot. He seems like a cool guy. That's kind of like how I root for dudes, like players. Like if they seem like really awesome,
And
then
that's
like I'm more inclined to root for them.
and he's very respectful because like if I'm not gonna lie, if I was me and I was about to hit 2,000 yards, I just needed a couple more yards in week 18, and they said that I'm not playing, I would have been mad. But
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley's just like, all right. He's just such a chill dude. He just doesn't care. Like he just like if he has like a chance at 2,000 yards to set the record, I'm starting it. Okay, I can work better. Like he's so humble. Like
Yeah, such a good team player.
yes, yeah. But if I was sitting out, I would have been mad. But I mean, he's very respectful. He doesn't charge at the media a lot. And when he played us in 2022, when we were playing in London, Packers Giants, we had an early lead. I think we lost like 24-22, something like that. I remember I was eating um breakfast at a dinner restaurant. But I mean, I know something super random, but I mean, yeah, he's a great player. He made a comeback for the Giants to win in the 2022 season, where they had a new head coach, Brian Dable, and they just like they were on fire, and they beat the Vikings in the wild card round, and then moved on to play the Eagles and lost 38-7. But I mean, they were a super good team back then. It was basically because of Saquon Barkley and their coach. So I think I have a lot of respect for him, and I like him a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, the Eagles are kind of like I have bad memories of them, like throughout the years, like playoff losses and stuff. But I like Saquon Barkley. I like Jalen Hurts. They seem like good people.
Yeah, and
And
like you don't have to hate a player just because, even though you really like them a lot, but you can't just like not like them because of the team they play for. Like a lot of people, Packer fans, like Justin Jefferson, but they don't like him because of who he plays for. Like, I mean, you should at least be able to cheer for a player, even though if they play for a team that you dislike. But I mean, some people just don't see that. But I mean, that's okay. Everybody has their own opinions. But I think you can cheer for anybody that you want, regardless of the team that they play for.
yeah, and I think some people like they can like separate like the football to the people. You know what I mean? So like Justin Fields is someone who I kind of like, but he played for the Bears, so I kept that to myself. But now he's not a Bear no more, so now I can root for him. He actually just signed with
The Jets.
the Jets. Yeah, so I hope he kills it. How do you think that he'll do? And what do you think of him?
You know, I like Justin Fields. I think he's a great player. And but the only thing is he has to work on his accuracy in the passing game on all like versions almost. The short passing game, his medium passing game, and his deep long passing game. And you have wide receivers that can make crazy catches. So it's not like if he overthrows it or underthrows it a little bit, Garrett Wilson can easily catch that. So I mean, he just has to work on his accuracy. If he can connect with Garrett Wilson, very good. Yeah, I mean, you've got a great quarterback wide receiver duo.
Yeah, they had to make sure that they can protect him over there. I just have a few more things, then we'll let you get back to your life, here. But the NFC North, how do you like? I wouldn't say you don't have to rank them, but like go through like. I feel like this NFC North is gonna be even tighter next year. I think the Bears have made some moves that they should get better. The Lions having to hire a new offense and defensive coordinator. I wonder how that'll affect. I don't think they're gonna like fall off, but maybe they're
Oh,
not quite as strong. I think that they're
I
gonna be. I think that they might. I'm not saying like fall back, but I'm saying I'm not sure that they're gonna get tougher. I think that they're probably gonna stay about the same. But what do you think?
I was thinking that the Lions are gonna fall off hard. I think they're still
Oh,
gonna make the
really?
playoffs. First round exit. Bye. Yeah, they're not getting past the first round next year. They're falling off. Their offensive coordinator was like everything to them. Their defensive coordinator, everything to them basically. And you have a risky gambler coach, Dan Campbell.
Yep.
4th and 34. Go for it.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't like
mean,
field goals.
it's they don't like field goals. So I mean, I can see them not having a kicker this year because of that. So they're going to fall off. Vikings, there's a reason why they got so high in the power rankings and the playoffs like and seed wise, it's because one of their rookie players, Kyrie Jackson, got in a car crash and they wanted to do it for him. And it's true. It's actually true. He got in a car crash and they wanted to do it for him. They the Vikings need something to motivate them, something super heartfelt to motivate them to do good. Or else they're just not gonna care. It's gonna be like, I'm gonna do this for
Do
Kyrie.
you think that there's any chance Aaron Rodgers goes to the Vikings? I did see people on Twitter were talking about that. I'm not sure that I didn't really think that the Vikings had interest and like he didn't have interest. It was mostly between the Giants and the Steelers. But I saw on Twitter that they were saying that the Vikings might have interest in him. That'd be something.
If you get Twitter, you can't trust anybody on Twitter. People on Twitter that are saying that he's going to the Vikings is because he just wants to do the same thing. Because they're saying like, oh, what if he does the same thing as Brett Favre? But Brett Favre encourages Aaron. He encouraged my speech Aaron Rodgers to go to the Vikings. Random. But I mean, I don't think he should. I think, um, like even like Brett Favre, he said you should sign with them. They're a pretty good team. Like that's like near word for word what he said to Aaron. I don't think he should. I don't think he should go to the Steelers, cause I mean, like Aaron Rodgers, he's the type of quarterback that at this point you can have him as a starter, but you don't want him to be your starter. So what I mean is if he's your starter, okay, but you don't want to like, oh my gosh, we need a starting quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. No. But if that's your last resort, go ahead. I feel like Aaron Rodgers can do a lot of magic still, even though he's getting older. But I don't think those are two places that he's really gonna go. Cause think about it. All the time, people are like, oh, this person's going to this team. Nope, he's going to a random team that nobody.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very odd. So I don't know. I feel like he's just gonna go to a random team. For some reason, something's telling me that he's going to like the Dolphins. I mean, that's kind of realistic because they don't have a good backup quarterback. Unless you're saying that Skylar Thompson, if he's still there, and Tyler Huntley are like quarterbacks that can start a football game and get you a good positive win. So I mean, like the Dolphins could get him, but I don't know. Not the Vikings. Don't take Brett Favre's advice, and
Yeah.
not the Steelers. It's just That's not that's not the Steelers. The Steelers would not want to do that for some. It's just telling me. It's just
Yeah, I think people talk about the Steelers a lot because Tomlin and Rodgers, they seem to have like a kind of a friendship. You kind of see. I don't want to go to the Vikings at all. That's like the last place I want him to go.
well, you know, I feel like if he goes to the Vikings, we're gonna kick their butt. I
I
mean,
think so.
you probably think most people are gonna think, oh, revenge game. Rodgers is gonna play his heart out for one game, and then he's just gonna throw contested um passes for the rest of the season. Cause it's almost like the Bears. The Vikings are in the Bears position. You're not gonna try the whole entire season except for the two games that you play the Packers. That's with
Yeah,
every single team in the NFC North except for the Lions. But most years the Lions just play the Packers. But in 2022, that was like the Lions thing. So I mean, every single team in the NFC North, they don't try all season. They try when they play the Packers.
and
Because
it seems like they always
you
try
feel like
harder.
because you feel like you have bragging rights when you play the Packers. No, there's way better teams than the Packers out there. Like you don't have bragging rights. It's a mixed up league. It's a mixed up NFC to be
It's a
specific.
crazy, crazy world. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
so
why can't it just go back to the 80s where they just pound the rock? That was way better. Way
did do you watch old like clips on YouTube and whatnot?
Yes, a lot. I saw this play of Bo Jackson, one my favorite running back because he has the same birthday as me. Um, but anyways, yeah, I've watched a clip of him where like five guys tried to take him down, didn't go down. I've watched clips of Marshawn Lynch in the playoffs against the Saints in like the 2010s. Five people on him didn't go down. Fun fact about Marshawn Lynch: before his games, he had a Skittles addiction.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know if it just gave him those magic powers to go beast mode, but one of the most I like watching iconic stuff about the NFL, like when not really the OBJ catch though, because it's not too iconic. Because like when you think of iconic, you think of like Marshawn Lynch. Like what I mean by that is you didn't give the ball to beast mode on like the 2 yard line. Instead you pass it to Malcolm Butler, the Patriots cornerback at the time. And yeah, it's just twisted. Yeah,
yeah,
but I don't feel like the OBJ thing. I mean, yeah, it's cool and all, but when you think iconic, you think like historic moments like the Seahawks not running the ball on
yeah,
like like 40 seconds in the game. So I feel like that's like iconic. Or what's his name? Hold on, I think Santonio Holmes. I
yeah.
think
Antonio
that
Holmes
catch against the Cardinals
in the
in the
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl. Was that him? All
Yep.
right. Yeah, that one. That's another iconic moment. So I mean, there's a different thing between, but there's a difference between cool stuff that everybody's gonna remember and like iconic. There's there's a tiny difference between them.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Barry Sanders clips?
Yes, not too much, but I've watched them. Barry, I don't call them the Detroit Lions. Sometimes I call them the Detroit Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnsons.
Yeah, but Barry Sanders, like when I was growing up, he was obviously really, really good, and he beat the Packers a lot. And actually, they were good, but they weren't as good as they should have been because the Lions are the Lions. But they still watching him just run over the Packers defense is,
That was
gives you
it
flashes. But
unstoppable.
yeah, to me, he's the best running back of all time. Who do you think? I know you haven't watched all of them, but who that you've seen do you think is the best of all time?
The best, well, my favorite Bo Jackson, as I said, the best. It's way too early to say Saquon Barkley, but I feel like one day it's debatable. But oh, I burped. Sorry. Um,
All right.
but all time.
Bo Jackson's a good one. A lot of people would say
I mean,
it's him.
yeah, he's not the best, but he's not like that good. My mom just said the boss Jerome Bettis. No, he's pretty forgettable. But And most people say I'm at Smith. No, I don't. I no. It's just I feel like I'm almost in agreement with you on Barry Sanders. I feel like someday, there's the potential for it to be Saquon Barkley, but this is not the time yet. Give him like 4 or 5 more years, and you should be good.
Yeah, we will see. But yeah, Jerome Bettis was fun to watch too because he just like ran over people. He just was like, I'm just gonna
Oh,
pound and you're gonna move or you're gonna get run over. Yeah, he was fun. All right, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. I truly appreciate your time and your parents as well for taking the time um out of their
just
day.
stay here and take videos of me.
But it's a lot of work. But so once again, let everyone know where they can find you. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube,
All
you got a
right.
website.
Yes. I've got a website, upnextwithbex.com. Look up Short Time Sports on YouTube. You should find my videos. This face, you should be able to recognize it from this podcast or my others or on the radio. You can follow me on Facebook, Up Next with Bex, or Instagram. I think also Up Next with Bex. A little bit of advice: don't get nervous during these things. Have a conversation, and also make sure you pronounce last names right, especially of Green Bay presidents,
Yeah,
aka
I
Jim Schmidt, not Jim. You know it. So
yeah,
yeah,
not the one. I
yeah. I
will
was going
put
to.
the I will put your website in the description too, so
Thank you.
people who are listening, you can tap in there, and I'm sure
And
they can find your social media stuff from there.
also, I kind of want to also say thank you to Matt Ramage's sponsors, Nicolay Law and Quick Trip. You got to get the Quick Trip crispy chicken tenders. 3 of them in that little box. So good, like the best crispy chicken I've ever had, or AKA chicken tenders as they call them. You should get that. They're super good. And thank you so much for having me on here. It's just fun to talk about sports, and it's just a blessing. I really thank you for it. Have a nice night. Peace, everybody.
Peace out, and maybe during the football season we can talk again.
Yes, we need to, because there's gonna be way more moves in the
Yeah,
next few days. So, but now I feel like if we do in the middle of the season, we get to recap the first half of the Packers, what we've been talking about like near this whole entire video, just everything. It's gonna be good. Um, yeah. Do what you gotta do to
absolutely.
wrap it up.
We'll do that. All right. So thank everyone for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, and also if you go to thematramage.com, that's my website. You can find all the links to all the places that I am. If this is your first time, maybe you're from Bex. You're here for him. You're like, who's this guy? But check me out, and we are out of here. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go! Bye!